Jamie.
Over there somewhere is Janie, but
he's doing something out there. I don't know what it is.
Kayaking?
Kayaking, that's what it is.
And how are you doing, Sarah?
Hi there.
And
I'm excellent.
Who's this fellow?
Did you meet David?
No, I'm Davey. I'm Jennifer's husband.
Jennifer's husband.
Yeah, Jennifer Mealy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met you.
No.
I met
No,
the
I
other.
never-
I met
he's
the
a
other.
sweetie.
You met
He's
Steve?
new.
I'm
He's
the
new
new guy.
and he's a sweetie.
Hey.
You're
nice
the guy
to
from
meet
the
you.
States.
No, that's Steve.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah, I'm Davey from the Sioux.
And you're the fellow that runs the Creed Center.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I went to see you at the other place
Oh, yeah.
to find out where you wanted the key, and found out you were up at the other, or Jennifer wanted the key.
Uh-huh.
And okay, one.
No, go faster.
One. God, I remember when I was a kid, David.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
My brother Donnie and I lived in a canoe.
Yeah.
Lived in a canoe. Canoe breathing the air.
Yeah.
And we had a washtub. My mother used to wash in an iron tub about that big and about that deep. And we weren't any bigger than she was. And we get into that one of us would get into that wash tub, go right out into the middle of the iron wash tub. You know, going a little water to get in here, we'd splash it out and go. Never ever did we ever sink that wash tub. Of course, if we'd have sunk the wash tub, we'd have got...
You got more hell than dying yourself.
Hung by my father. But we never ever sunk it. But we used to go out there in that wash tub,
That
right
sounds
out
like
into the
fun.
middle of the lake. And the lake was bigger than this. You know, we'd be right. Couldn't swim a stroke.
Is that right?
We could stay afloat.
Are you gonna come with us?
And we'd go to they had a big diving tower there, about 3 stories of diving tower and a platform. And on a big day, there would, like on the weekend, there would be 40 or 50 people on it, you know, and they'd all get up on the tower, and the tower would start to sink. And
Don't get out.
we'd first thing it'd be over so far that we'd have to get into the water. And they'd hear them yelling, "Save those Hawke kids! Save those Hawke kids!" They didn't need to do it because we, you know,
You could float.
we could float and save ourselves, but
Pull the rope up, Andy.
God, we used to have trouble.
Pull up the rope. Pull it up. Keep it up and we'll
Hold
go.
her up. Hold her up. We're coming in. We're coming in.
It's really fun. You're heading more down there, Grandpa.
Okay. We made it.
I see.
And this is like on the
All
railroad.
part of life, you know.
This is the railroad we're talking about?
Yeah. I hustled engines for 5 months in the wintertime. Big 5400s there, moved them around.
And they all ran on coal.
They all ran on coal. What we used to do is the fireman would come in and he'd he was supposed to bank the fire, bring all the coals up to the front and bank it so they had a pile of coal at the front, and he'd leave it there. And when we got around to it, sometimes there'd be 10 or 15 trains in a row. By the time we got to it, we'd take it around, back it up, fill it full of coal, move it about 40 feet to the sanding house, and the sand house would consisted of a great big hot air furnace with like a funnel-shaped thing, 3 or 4 funnel-shaped seeing up the thing, and we'd fill that full of sand. And as the sand dried, it flowed down through there to the bottom so that it was perfectly dry. Then we'd throw it into a hopper, and then the compressed air would drive it up, and we'd take the lid off, and we'd fill the top of the engine full of this sand. They used it for traction.
Yeah.
Mostly for traction, not so much for braking, but for traction. And then we'd move it down to the next place where we'd water it. We'd have to move it down and get out of the thing and lift the thing up and take the hook and bring the big water thing around, fill the thing full, drive it down to the sand pit, go down and open up the doors, and then get up and shake the fires and let all the ashes fall down into the thing. Then we had to build the fire up again. We had to close the grates, push this pile of stuff that the firemen had put up there down the way, and build a new fire. we'd turn the steam on. You'd have a little bit of steam. We used that for draft, and it very quickly more like a bellows. Just a guy that I'm thinking of a guy that works iron there. What
Blacksmith.
Forge, like a forge. And you get a good fire going, and you draw up the steam, and then you put it away in the shops. But a lot of firemen didn't do that. They left the big coat of ashes about that thick that were red hot, and they're like glue, you know. And there's 4 grates on it, and you'd pull the levers, and all this thing would do is go up and down, up and down. It wouldn't fall down. Then you had to go and get the water. You'd sprinkle on it to get it soft, and then by that time it was so glued together that even the water, it congealed. You had to get a poker in there, and you had to break it all up. We used to curse those firemen that used to do that. And then by the time you got it all broke up, and he hadn't built the thing up at the front, we'd have to go down and get some kindling, start a fire in it.
And what town were you doing this in? White River.
Right here, when it was 60 below zero. 60 below zero. 50 below zero.
And these engines were waiting for their assignments in the morning?
Yeah, like they would come out of Scriber, and the engine would come off and come onto the track, and we would do our work for it. And then when it was called for it, we'd go out and take an engine either back to Scriber or down to Shaplow, wherever they needed them.
Don't fall in the water, Andy.
I remember one night, we had a French fella there, nice guy. He and I were sort of chums. If you know how the engine is built, the back engine has got the water tank, and we'd say it's 15 feet off the track, or 10 feet off the track. Then the next thing is the coal, where the coal is, but it's about 4 feet higher than where the water tank is. So when you back the engine up, you've got to make sure that you back it up right opposite the water spout, or if you go too far, the coal thing is in the road, or if you don't go back far enough, when you pull it over, it won't reach the hole to put it in. It had to be right on. So this guy came along, and he backed the engine up, and he hadn't backed it up far enough. So when he goes out and he pulls the thing around, and he found that it wasn't reaching it, so he goes back in and he pulls the steam on the engine. Of course, it's pretty hard to stop those things after you put a little steam in the cylinder, and it starts to back up, and he puts the brake on, but it doesn't stop. And of course, this big tube there is there, and it hits the back of the coal chute, knocks the standpipe right off at the bottom. The standpipe's that big around. The water's going up there about 35 feet in the air, because the water tank is about 70 feet high, and the pressure is shooting that stuff up, and it's 45, 50 below zero.
Yeah.
The camera got moved. Was that,